Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred comes out today and says the Astros haven't done enough to fix the problem with the cheating publicly or with MLB baseball. I happen to agree with him. How about Aaron Gordon getting robbed from the slam dunk contest yesterday in the NBA? Chris and I will talk about that. Lastly, what is the biggest thing going on in the offseason in the NFL besides Tom Brady? You have found the show that helps you become smarter than your friends when it comes to sports. Let's start the show. Oh, it's a great Sunday here in the First Round Studios. We are live here on YouTube talking about everything going on in the world of sports. I'm excited to be joined on my left by my co-host every single week, Chris Roberts. What's going on?
Man, I'm trying to stay up, man. Just enjoy the good soul food Sunday after church, man.
Soul Food Sunday.
Yes, sir.
What was the best food there?
Man, my macaroni and cheese, of course.
Your macaroni and cheese?
My macaroni
So
and
you've
cheese.
tried my ribs.
Right.
And you said that they were...
Yeah, they were good, man. They were the best,
Wait,
man.
it got downgraded from the best you ever
The
had to
best,
good?
Yeah, some of the best ribs I ever had, man. Yeah.
They are good. So, Nick, you know what? Sometime the next week, you got to do the macaroni and
Hey.
cheese, heavy on the cheese,
That's fine with me.
and I'll do the ribs.
Hey, that'll work.
And Ray will bring the Tesla,
Exactly.
and the beer,
And the beer.
and the girls.
And the girls' race.
He's like, wait a minute, I got the beer. What's a girl?
Exactly.
Hey, it's awesome to be here in the St. Jude Studios talking to all of you out there. Couple of shout outs before we talk about everything going on in the world of sports and some new subscribers this week that we want to shine the light of honor on right now. The Gator Dugout Club, got to meet them yesterday, hanging out before every Gator home game. You can go to GatorDugoutClub.org. Join or donate today if you're in the Gainesville area. That's a good group to hang out with. They had great food, offered me some beers. There was a lot of great people out there. So, again, go to GatorDugoutClub.org. Sign up today to become a member. And then also yesterday, Chris and I ran into a group of awesome ladies from Fort Walton Beach Community Chorus. They're 50 spirited singers.
Yes, sir.
That have been doing it since 1975.
Hey, man, they were some of the coolest people we ever met, too, man.
They were cool. We want to give a shout out to Katie, Kim, Nancy, Elizabeth, and Mary. They put on a spring concert and a Christmas concert. You can get a hold of them at fwbcc.org. Fort Walton Beach Community Chorus. Just take the acronym there, fwbcc.org. Thank you so much for having your family join with ours here in the first round and becoming our newest subscribers. We wish you guys great things moving forward in 2012. And let's talk about everything that's going on in the world of sports right now. I've got to start it, unfortunately, with the NBA All-Star Weekend. I can't believe Derrick Jones Jr. from the Miami Heat edges out Orlando Magic forward Aaron Gordon in the Slam Dunk Championship. I thought that was crazy. I am so not into watching this stuff most of the time, and the skills challenge, the All-Star game itself it's just difficult to watch for me. I thought Aaron Gordon got robbed. We are going to talk about that. How about Buddy Hield beats out Devin Booker from the Phoenix Suns in the three-point championship, and Bam Adebayo from Miami wins the skills championship. They've kind of tweaked it a little bit. I like what they're doing in the skills championship a little better than what they've done in the past, but I'm still not a super big fan of it. NFL news. How about a big clap and a 2 thumbs up to Houston Texans star J.J. Watt getting married to Kealia Ohai. She plays in the National Women's Soccer League for Chicago. They got married this weekend. We wish them all the best, and I think he's just a stand-up guy. On the other side of the fence in the NFL, Washington Redskins cornerback Josh Norman gets released. I think he's highly overpaid. He's slightly overrated. He'll be out on the street looking for a job after Redskins release him. This frees up $12.5 million in cap space. They got to start rebuilding that offense. I'd start with the offensive line and then get some speed burners on the outside. Who knows where Josh Gordon is going to land, maybe in Cincinnati. College hoops news. Really classy move by the University of Florida to name their court after former coach Billy Donovan. 19 years there. In 19 years as the head coach at the Florida Gators, made the tournament 14 times, 4 Final Four appearances, 2 national championships. They took his autograph. They put it on both sides of the court facing the fans. I thought that was a class move. Bad news in college basketball. UNC suffers Another painstaking loss at home to University of Virginia. Chris and I will talk about that. How about college football news? There's a little bit of the good news out there. Florida State and LSU sign a contract to play in Jacksonville and in New Orleans in 2022 and 2023. This is what I like to see. I don't want to see the directional teams getting beat up by the Blue Bloods. That's old news. MLB news. How about rumors around Alex Rodriguez right now becoming a minority owner and purchasing part of the New York Mets? I'm not sure that that's a great move. If he's got money, why is he investing into Major League Baseball? That could be a risk. Carlos Correa from the Astros, from the fallout of the cheating scandal, comes out defending Jose Altuve, saying the fact that he grabbed his jersey doesn't mean he had a wire on. Well, whenever in Major League Baseball have you seen players do that? I never have. I've got a lot of questions about that, and I'll tell you who else does. Commissioner Rob Manfred comes out today and says what the Astros did was not enough. They still have not shown contrition. I don't think they're being completely honest. Chris and I will talk about that. And having said that, Chris, it's the NBA weekend. It's the All-Star weekend. How much of this do you actually watch?
Well, I used to watch quite a bit of it. Quite frankly, right now, I only tune into the All-Star game and probably the fourth quarter of the All-Star game. That's about it. I don't even get into the slam dunk contest anymore.
What about the skills challenge?
I don't get into any of that stuff anymore. It's not the same. It's not the same as when I was growing up. I mean, All-Star Weekend, it was all about the three-point contest and the slam dunk contest. Now, not so much. Because you don't have the best players entering these contests anymore. So it just kind of defeats the purpose.
You know what? I've got a great idea for the NBA marketing. We talk about how hard it is for MLB to market. I've got a great idea for the NBA. How about a Legends game? Yep. They've had to have been out of the league, let's say 15 years. 12 years, 15 years. So then you're getting the Isaiah Thomases, Larry Birds. Ooh. Yeah. It's not going to be competitive, but they get out there. They could still probably play to some point. Okay, they've got to be out of the league for at least 10 years.
Well, 10.
You're not buying on this.
No, not really.
That's because you don't know what you're talking about. This is a great idea.
Not really.
I want to see the old players come back.
Man, hey, maybe they can play like at halftime instead of having all of this. Instead of having the crazy halftime shows, maybe they can play halftime and play in halftime. Let's play like a little scrimmage game.
No way.
Pick up a game.
Instead of the skills challenge,
pick up game to 5.
I'd rather see the Legends come out there, but that's just my idea. Derrick Jones Jr. from the Miami Heat, I felt got robbed in the slam dunk championship. Aaron Gordon, power forward for the Orlando Magic, wins it. Did you happen to see this contest?
Actually, it was flipped. Derrick.
Well, yeah, Derrick Jones won.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon should have won.
Exactly.
Did you see it?
Yes,
okay.
And I was hot.
Well, the slam dunk that Aaron Gordon had off the side of the backboard, and then he windmilled it.
Yes.
I thought, I'm not even a dunk guy, and I thought that was one of the best dunks I've seen in a long time. And then the one where he goes over Taco Fall.
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty amazing because Taco Fall is what, about 19 feet tall?
Exactly.
I mean, literally he's over 7 foot. I don't know how, what is he, 7'4", 7'5"?
He's up there. He's the tallest player in the league right now. So.
And he went right over them. I thought that Aaron Gordon got robbed in that slam dunk championship myself.
He did. I mean, when you look at Derrick, you look at the dunks that the guy from Miami did. I mean, they were like the same dunks. I mean, it was like between the legs and windmill.
Grab it off somebody's head.
Grabbing somebody off the head, windmill. And I'm okay. Aaron Gordon came with creativity. I mean, that dunk off the side, catches it with one hand, 360 windmill.
Yeah.
That's like some Vince Carter stuff, man.
That was. I don't know how he didn't win that.
And the fact that he dunked over Taco Fall, like he literally cleared a 7-footer. No, didn't touch it. If you touch it, if you're looking at his hands, you don't count the hands. He cleared the whole body. And not only did he dunk it, but he brought it up and kind of windmilled it and dunked it too. I'm flabbergasted. I'm like Aaron Gordon. I would retire too. I wouldn't want to be in it anymore anyway.
I don't know. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about how hard it is to get psyched up for all these all-star games. You know, the hockey one this year was just a carnival and a circus. It was just so gimmicky. And now it's becoming that way in the NBA, I think. That's why I think bringing back the Legends, when else am I going to see them? And it allows the younger generation to get to see, not at their prime, obviously, but at least get to see some of these players come out And it gets them, the younger generation, a chance to learn about who these guys are. I mean, how many millennials that are out there right now actually saw Larry Bird play or how great he was?
I mean, none. I mean, unless they're like basketball historians who go back and look at the Dream Team or stuff like that. I mean,
I bet you if you just took the millennials out of 100 of them, I'd say 75 couldn't name half the Dream Team from 1992, and that was the greatest team ever assembled.
No, they really could.
Right, and those are the greatest players ever.
Yeah.
I mean, no team you could put together today would beat those guys.
No way. Not even. I mean, not even the Redeem Team wouldn't come close to that team.
No way. Buddy Hield gets it done, beating out Devin Booker in the three-point contest. Again, that used to be awesome. I remember when they were down in Houston, and Larry Bird, they were getting ready to practice for the All-Star game. And he went up to the coach, who I think was Bill Fitch at the time, the Eastern Conference All-Star coach, and he said, "Look, I don't think any of us even want to practice. I'm going to hit a shot here from half court and walk off."
Right.
And he hit the shot right in front of the whole team, and nobody had to practice. Right. Then remember, in the AT&T Long Distance 3-Point Championship, he gets down to his last ball, the power ball, the red, white, and blue one, shoots it up in the air while it's just still arcing. Before it's even come down, he puts his hand up and starts walking off the court. Swish, walks away with the title.
Hey, that's Larry for you. I mean, but I grew up in the era of Craig Hodges, and I mean, Craig Hodges was just lighting them up from everywhere, man. This guy was a beast. If you don't know who Craig Hodges is, go back and Google the Chicago Bulls and see who their three-point specialist was.
Yep, and Ray Allen.
Yeah, Ray Allen was good, too.
Yep, and who else? Oh, a man with the middle name Aloysius. Who played in Indiana.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
Aloysius.
Yeah. The Nick Killer. New York Nick Killer. Bald head. Sister played at USC.
I hate that guy, Reggie.
How can you hate Reggie, man?
Because I used to be a Knicks fan, and the guy scored like 8 points in like 2 seconds.
I know, and that's true. That absolutely happened. NFL news, Houston, Texas star J.J. White gets married to Kalia Ohai. I thought that was so cool. I read about that story today. Yeah. You know why it's so cool? Because, tons of people get married.
Right.
But this guy is just a solid, good guy.
Yeah.
You never hear about nonsense around him. He plays his heart out. He plays injured. He rehabbed. Basically took 9 months to rehab to come back to play in like 4 or 5 games because he's that much of a team guy. I say 2 thumbs up to him, and I thought that was a great story that was out there.
It was a great story, but is it starting to become a trend with NFL players marrying soccer players? I mean, you had Zach Ertz. Yeah, Zach Ertz, just married a soccer player too. It must be starting to become a trend with these guys.
Athletes and athletes.
Yeah, athletes and athletes. But I'm just saying.
They meet at award shows?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like more specifically, it's become more NFL players and more NFL players and soccer players.
Huh. I don't know. I just thought it was great news. Let's talk about overrated, overpaid Josh Norman, cornerback of the Washington Redskins, who have constant problems.
Right.
And they release him. It frees up $12 million on 12.5 against the cap. And I think this is a good move. I don't think he's been effective. I don't think he was in the league of a Revis, where you just have a lockdown guy. I say he's going to end up with Cincinnati or some lesser team and finish out his career. But they have so much rebuilding to do with the Redskins right now. I don't even know where to start. I think this is a good move.
No, I mean, it's a good move, but you got to think at the same time, this guy still played with Ron Rivera back down in Carolina, where he was the starting corner. And basically, with Josh Norman wasn't necessarily known as a one-on-one cover guy. He was more of a zone coverage type of corner. And, basically going to Washington Redskins, he took the payday as any NFL player would, going into their free agency. So I think he just took the payday, went to Washington because Washington at the time was printing money and just handing out paychecks. So, hey, more power to him.
They've got a lot of other places to start. I think they've got to find a quarterback. I think they've got to find a running back. I know they had Adrian Peterson for a while. I don't think, he's getting a little bit long in the tooth. They've got to find a wideout. Somebody that can stretch the field. I think that they need high-end level talent out there. They have a lot of places that they need to start plugging holes. I think this is addition by subtraction. And you know what? Frankly, I'm not sure how good of a guy Josh Norman has been in the NFL since he's been here. He's kind of like I never thought of him as a lockdown cornerback anyway. Did you?
Well, I mean, he had his best years were in Carolina. I mean, when that defense was solid, and when you look at Josh Norman was more of a zone cover corner. He wasn't the guy that's going to lock down the player's best person one-on-one. You know, when you look at him, you try to put him in the mold of Richard Sherman, but Richard Sherman is better than Norman. But, you know, that's all I thought of him, was just a zone guy.
Yeah. Overrated, overpaid. There's the door. How about UF moving to college football news, renaming the floor for Billy Donovan after 19 years of service there, 14 tournaments, 4 Final Fours, 2 national championships back-to-back. You never see the core like we saw with Joakim Noah and Humphreys and Lee Humphreys, Al Horford, and you have a Corey Brewer, a core of 5 or 6 players all come back for their senior year and then win it again. And I thought it was a credit to him and his coaching. I think he's a stand-up guy. You never hear about problems off the field with UF basketball while he was here, and I think it's a class move.
Yeah, I think it was a class move. I mean, you have Billy Donovan, who actually, you know, in a sense, you could say, you know, was the basketball coach at UF. I mean, you had, you know, great players come through. You had players come through. You had some good coaches come through, but Billy Donovan was a great coach at UF. Not only, you know, did he take them to the tournament all of these times and get them to the Final Four, but the fact that we won back-to-back championships, you don't see that often at all.
Nope. I don't think we're going to see it again for a while. It's really hard to do it, especially with the one-and-done era that we're in right now. Before we get into college basketball, I want to say hello and thanks to all of our viewers out there. Chris Wesley from Gainesville and Phoenix J. All of our new subscribers out there, thank you so much for becoming a part of our family. It's Chris and Ron here in the St. Jude studios every Wednesday and Sunday live here on YouTube, talking about everything going on in the world of sports. You can follow us here on Twitter, at the First Round 1 on Twitter. Good handle to follow. And you can reach us here with comments or questions. Live chat anytime Sunday at 6 o'clock or Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We'll take questions from our audience. Also, you can reach us on our email, thefirstraundrd@gmail.com. Getting into college basketball, Chris, one of the Blue Bloods, one of the teams that we expect to be there in the Sweet 16 every single year, one of the teams that has put out Ray Perkins, James Worthy, Michael Jordan. I'm talking about UNC. And even though they have a historic coach there that could be considered on the Mount Rushmore of coaches in college basketball, or if not, he's definitely in the top 10 of best coaches all time. Roy Williams has hit the skids, and yesterday the season of pain continued for UNC, taking a home loss to Virginia in the last second of the game. 64-62, they go to 10-15 overall on the season. They're 3-11 in the ACC. I don't think they're going to have a sniff of a chance to make it into the tournament. And for them, this is just an absolute aberration how bad they are this season. And for me, it kind of comes out of nowhere because recruiting-wise, the last 3 or 4 seasons, they still have top 10 and top 15 recruiting classes.
Well, I mean, in this case, you know, the injury bug came and bit North Carolina, and then, you know, it comes down to now that you don't have that talent that you're used to having, you know, that's when you have to get back to, you know, fundamentals and coaching these guys, you know, and get them more fundamentally sound so that they are be able to compete with teams like Virginia, Florida State, Dukes, and whatnot. You know, they play those teams close. However, what it comes down to is at that last minute, you know, you don't have that one superstar that's able to take over. Like, you know, Cole Anthony is just coming back from an injury or whatnot. So this has just been an aberration for North Carolina this year. I'm pretty sure they'll be back next year.
Going back to the Legends game, Chris Wesley on the live chat says, when was the last time there was a Legends game? And I'm guessing he's asking about the NBA. You know, I don't remember when the last time there was one, but I would love to see one. I would love to substitute some of the gimmicky stuff that's going on in the All-Star weekend that happens now that I'm really not interested in. Look, you know what the hottest selling things on eBay are? The highest price stuff on eBay? It's memorabilia. Because people want to reach back to that time when they were growing up. And like for my father's generation, you know, my buddy Keith, their generation grew up with Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams. And the nostalgia factor with human beings is huge. So like for Ray Boom Boom on the board there, 30 years from now, he's like, man, I remember when Tesla first came out with their first Roadster, man. They were expensive, but they were like, the specs on them and what they could do, they were blowing away other higher priced cars. We have this thing that's built into us and hardwired that is this nostalgia factor that drives us back to our youth at times as we get older. I would love to see Larry Bird and Magic Johnson get out there. I mean, that would be the hit of the weekend if you had a Legends game where you were able to pull out Magic, pull back Larry right there, just those two right there. And you get Vinny the Microwave Johnson, you get, maybe Hakeem Olajuwon and Patrick Ewing and some of the stars from that era, the 90s out there. Maybe Dennis Rodman comes back. Dude, that would be bigger than the actual All-Star game.
Man, Ron, I'm going to tell you what your idea remind me of, man. You ever seen, what's the name of the movie with Madonna and,
Desperately Seeking Susan?
No, the baseball game, the women's
League of Their Own.
League of Their Own, yeah. Your idea reminds me of that very end of that movie when it's going off, when you see the old ladies playing baseball. Like, really, I mean, it's a great idea in theory, but I think, you look at these younger players, younger kids, they're going to be like, I don't want to see these old guys out here.
I think you're wrong, man.
I really don't. I think it'll be more towards like our demographic because we grew up seeing these guys play. But I mean, the younger kids.
How many 50-year-old guys are watching the NBA week? 50 and up, 45 years old and up. How many are watching this? With all the hip hop and the Migos and the chains and the fashion statements, how many guys 45 and up are watching any part of this?
I'm probably not watching any
None.
of this.
So you're going to pull in for the Legends game that audience and keep them relevant in your market. And you're still going to pull in the younger generation that's more inclined to hip-hop and the fashionista side of the NBA and the young stars of today. And you're going to pull them in. You're grabbing a greater share of the viewing audience. I think it's a great, great idea. How can you not like this? You'd rather see a skills challenge that no one's watching at all?
Well, Ron, I mean, the thing with the idea, I think you have to go with...
It's not competitive.
I understand it's not competitive.
It's just to see him get out there.
But again, it'd have to be like a short, like I say, like a short game. It has to be like something like a pickup game, like maybe you have those players playing to like 10 or something like that in a pickup game.
10?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I mean to go.
It could be a whole night thing.
Have you seen Charles Barkley try to run on stage and on TNT?
I think that would be ratings gold.
It was ratings gold to see him.
I think it would be ratings gold. Get him out there against Shaq. Oh, come on, man.
Ratings gold to almost see him triple over shoestrings. Yeah, so
I think that would be awesome. I say create the Legends game. Let that be one of the dominant things. I would put it in prime time on Saturday night before the All-Star game on Sunday, and I bet you it would be ratings gold. It would go through it would skyrocket.
Yeah, but NBA try it out and see.
Yeah, I think it would be awesome. So, college football news. Florida State signs up to play LSU for 2 years starting in 2022 and 2023. I think this is a great move for both colleges. I think it's a great move for college football fans. We saw the expansion of Florida going outside of their usual directional school lineup the first month of college football to sign up to play Utah, Colorado, Texas, and Cal. I love that move. This is a plus win-win-win for college football fans especially. I know the ADs are going to say, yeah, that makes the schedule harder, but you're going to get rewarded because how many teams go undefeated anymore? And when they do, how many times do we talk about, well, let's look at their strength of schedule. If they're playing a bunch of directional schools, I don't need that in my life right now. I think this is a win-win-win all the way around.
Yeah, it's a win-win. I wish it would have been an actual home and home instead of two Baton Rouge and Orlando type games. I just simply because I think the fan base deserves to have that home and home, have that home atmosphere, especially with the LSU coming to Tallahassee and Florida State going to Baton Rouge. I think the local fans and, just the fans in general deserve to have that home and home atmosphere.
Major League Baseball news, Alex Rodriguez, it comes out today, is interested, or at least there's rumors swirling around him and his camp that he would like to purchase the Mets. His estimated worth is at somewhere around $450 to $500 million, so he would become a minority owner in the Mets. Why would you throw so much money into this with the potential to lose it when you're set for the rest of your life and generations ahead? I don't see the upside for Alex Rodriguez unless he's trying to rebrand and remarket himself after the last 5 or 6 years he was in the league where his numbers went down, The talk about him being on steroids went up, and he's trying to polish the image a little bit. I mean, that's a very expensive way to polish the image, unless I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, it's just like the whole Derek Jeter experiment down in Miami. You know, he's looking to take that route. I mean, I think that's just something that the players, superstar players, they have that route to ownership to be the face of the franchise, and that with this situation, I think that's what Alex Rodriguez is trying to do. But he's already starting to rebrand himself, basically from, being a baseball analyst, which he's doing pretty good at. So, and, from that, people are starting to see that, hey, even though he was a steroid user, he's a likable guy. And I think this is just a chance for him to be the face of a franchise. You know
what? I think you're right. I like what he's done on Sunday Night Baseball. Mendoza, not a big fan of. I like Rick Sutcliffe. I like Vasgersian. Like I said, Matt Vasgersian. Real quick, we were talking last week about who is the next great broadcaster out there, and I totally whiffed on it so bad by saying Matt Vasgersian. We talked about it after the show. Tony Romo. Yeah. You had it nailed. And then we were playing our new game, our new segment, Who's the Next? And you're asked, who's the next Larry Bird? And I didn't think it was a long shot to say Clay because he has a lot of the same attributes, but I totally whiffed on that one. Luka Doncic. Yeah. From the Dallas Mavericks. It's got to be the next greatest star. It's not a white thing. It's just he's a young guy. He shoots outside. He's highly intelligent. These are all things that Larry had. He's the next rising star in his age bracket, 1 or 2 years in the league. Man, I whiffed on that one. You were absolutely right with those two.
I mean, not only that, but you have to look at his numbers. I mean, yeah, Clay puts up great numbers, but you have to look at Luka Doncic's numbers. I mean, you have a guy that's averaging like 28 points and like eight assists and like 7 or 8 rebounds. I mean, you look at those numbers with Larry's, they're comparable to Larry Bird when he was in the league. So, I just look at those hand in hand and look at, the upside of what Luka's got going on, and that's my guy. I look at him towards as being the next Larry.
Adrian Perez, one of our 500th subscribers, is chiming in here saying that maybe A-Rod is just buying a team for multi-millions of dollars because he's bored.
Well, he could be.
You got J-Lo. How are you bored, man? You got hundreds of millions of dollars. You got houses all over the place. You got, Sunday Night Baseball, but you got J-Lo. Wait, J-Lo? Who would you rather be if you got to be a husband? You want to be Alex Rodriguez or Tom Brady?
I'm gonna take Alex Rodriguez.
J-Lo over
I'm gonna take
Giselle.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you because, man.
Giselle. It's one name. Giselle. Have you seen Giselle?
Look, Ron, I like a little spice in my life, man. The J-Lo, she got it, man. Look, I've been
Giselle is Brazilian, dude.
I understand.
That's spicy. She can shake the hips. Hey, it's a personal preference call. Let me know what you guys think out there. We appreciate you joining us live here. It's Ron and Chris in the St. Jude studios like it always is. Every Sunday, every Wednesday, live on YouTube. Last thing we want to talk about is Rob Manfred comes out today with some interesting quotes. The commissioner of baseball talking about this cheating scandal that seems to be growing and growing and growing around the Houston Astros. Some of the players came out and said they have felt bad about being associated with it. That's not an apology. Some players like Carlos Correa come out and defend Jose Altuve saying, no, he never wore a wire. Even though people on the inside of the Houston Astros organization, including family members, are now starting to come out on social media saying there were wires involved. And Rob Manfred says, when asked, how has the apology gone and the healing process that the Houston Astros are trying to put out there publicly, quote, it was not successful. Not only that, he goes on to say, commenting on the Astros apology, I don't absolve the players of their responsibility in this negligent manner. The players are absolutely have to be held accountable. Now, what and how Major League Baseball is going to address that, you and I have talked about in the last couple weeks. I think whether it's symbolic or not, you take away, and it's as hard as it is for me to say, you take away and advocate those championships absolutely from the Houston Astros and possibly from the Boston Red Sox, depending on how deep this investigation goes with MLB, going into the management, the clubhouse people, and the players with the Boston Red Sox. That could definitely be an option. As much as I hate to say that, and I know it's symbolic, you don't melt down the rings and take back the championship and erase it from every book. You can't, wipe out all the VHS tapes and the video history of it. But You pull it off there and you symbolically say, look, we're not going to tolerate this. You're not going to be recognized as a champion. You can't hang the banner. You can't claim those championships. Chris, what are your thoughts?
I find this to be hilarious coming from Rob Manfred. I really do. Rob Manfred then comes out and basically states, it comes out in defense, not doing anything against the players. Then he comes out and defends, not stripping them of the titles of that year. I don't know what to say. I'm lost for words because
they've got to fix it somehow.
At one point, you're saying that the apology isn't good enough, but yet still you're saying that you're not to the point where you're ready to take a punitive actions that's equal to the crime that they committed.
Chris, so ongoing investigation right now. Ongoing investigation with clubhouse members and the players. So MLB isn't done with their investigating. I think you got to wait until all your investigating is done, then formulate what all the facts say. Then you wait a day or two to see what the public reaction is once you release those facts, which is stupid. Then you get to the punitive damage part of it. So I think they're just going through their due diligence. And like I said, it's not outside the realm for me to take these championships away from these teams. And it's hard to say that again because I'm a Red Sox fan.
Yeah, but it's like, in a sense, okay, so you go ahead, you get rid of your general manager, you get rid of the general managers, you get rid of the presidents,
Chris, they're looking for contrition.
I understand.
We can't have Pete Rose partially apologizing for 14 years.
That, but
you got to come out and just own it, say what was going on, and that's it.
I understand that, but
and they're not doing that.
Exactly, they're not doing that. But I'm just saying, like the baseball teams itself is like just making in a sense they kind of swept it under the rug just by getting rid of the managers of the teams, and they getting rid of the presidents. And to me, it's just like you should have done more than that from the beginning anyway.
We'll see how Major League Baseball clears it up moving forward. I have trust in Rob Manfred to make the right decisions. Chris, what else is going on in the world of sports?
Speaking of Astros. There's two Little League baseball clubs in the state of California that has effectively banned the name of the Astros due to the cheating scandal, and that is the Long Beach League, and we have Fullerton League, East Fullerton League. Got it. Basically, you have those two leagues basically effectively banning the Astros because of the cheating scandal. Jeez, Astros.
They can't name their team the Astros anymore. I saw that story too, and I don't know. That's a little bit of a stretch. I mean, who cares what Little League teams are named? Just teach the kids the lesson, which is don't cheat.
Yeah.
That's what I think the important thing is. The other important thing right now is that music can mean only one thing. It's time to thank our support staff. But before we do, Chris and I here in the St. Jude Studios want to thank all of you for watching and participating. Thank you for subscribing. If you're a first-time watcher, hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification button. We're putting out multiple videos every single week. Watch for our top NBA players of all time video coming out in 2 days. Check that out. Chris and I are going to be putting that together. The man on the board, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, the man to my left, Chris Roberts, as he is here every single week. El Presidente, Chet 40. Go Google him. For all of us here in the first round, I want to thank you for participating. Thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for subscribing. We'll be right back here Wednesday live talking about everything going on in the world of sports. Until then, take care, everybody.